Sir Andy Murray liked the product so much, he's invested in it. I'm talking about the sports drink Halo, which is marketed as a product that can hydrate the body 5 times faster than water. Well, the tennis star's put millions of pounds into dozens of companies over the last few years, and he's been telling us what he looks for in potential investments.
First thing is I kind of need to like it or like the idea. Obviously wouldn't understand the business side of things so much. Obviously people that I work with that help me on that side of things. Since I was a kid, like always been told that a lot of the, like the sports drinks and stuff, they're all got way too much sugar in them. And, Halo's very low in sugar. It's got like 1 gram of sugar in it. So for me, that was appealing. Then tried them, thought they were nice. Also got a message from Pitbull as well, which is very random. He's one of like the original investors in it over in the States, and that sort of swayed me a bit.
Well, let's bring in Anshuman Vohra. He's the Chief Executive of Halo Sport. Anshuman, very good morning to you. Before you launched Halo, you, of course, had a big hit with Bulldog Gin, which you built up and then sold to Campari a couple of years ago. What made you go into non-alcoholic drinks for your next venture?
Well, good morning. Thank you for having me. I would say part of it is just, I'm a certified masochist and I like the pain. And as a former investment banker myself turned entrepreneur, I had such a great time with Bulldog and the experience, and it was such a great outcome. Historically I've been a tennis player, didn't reach quite the level that Sir Andy has, but I played Division I college, and I just kind of felt I was really frustrated with the way people were hydrating and what they were putting in their body, despite the fact that science and education had changed to a point where we know that lots of sugar and lots of color in a drink is not necessarily very helpful. So I had a point of view. We had a ton of very focused, very intellectual, scientific people, nutritionists on board who kind of helped us make it what it is today. So,
and how did Andy Murray get on board originally?
Well, really interestingly, we launched last year in the States, and we've just launched in the UK about a few weeks ago. In late December, I got a call from a friend who said, look, I know you've gone into this hydration segment with powders and gummies and the drink, and you're about to crush it. And I know your love for tennis, and I have a tennis player who wants to get involved. So this person called me, I thought there was going to be some high school or some college tennis player. They're like, what do you think about Andy Murray? I said, I love the guy, but I said, who do you want to get involved in Halo? And they said, Sir Andy. And I said, well, it's a little bit, struck me as almost a joke. And then I spoke to, Andy's team very quickly thereafter, and they're just total assassins, very focused on the job at hand, on how Andy can add value, why he wanted to get involved. I mean, as you can imagine, he gets solicited by a bunch of brands for his involvement. It was great. So I reached out, and Andy was looking to get involved in something that was healthier, that both kids and adults can enjoy and putting in their body. He wants to hydrate like a champ, and he's passionate about everybody else in the UK hydrating like a champion also.
It's very interesting, isn't it? I mean, he's invested in a ton of businesses on a sort of almost a venture capital basis, the likes of the salad bar Toast and the sportswear company Castor and Revolut, the digital bank. I mean, he clearly knows what he's doing, or he's got some very smart people around him.
I think all of the above, and I'm hoping he brings that Midas touch to Halo. But I would tell you, his team, I think one of the reasons that he's so successful is his team is second to none. I interact with him every day on strategic stuff, and Andy's instinct can't be downplayed either. I mean, he's a very sharp guy, and he understood both what the business was and if and how he could add value to it. I mean, I think he spends a lot of time focusing on his name, because he doesn't want to just invest and say sayonara and not be involved. I mean, he's actively involved, almost like management, if you will, because that's how passionate he is. So when he's not on the tennis court training or resting, he's focused on how he can be just a better investor and venture capitalist.
I mean, there are heaps of sports drinks out there on the market. How do you differentiate what you're doing?
First of all, most of those sports drinks are owned by big companies, and ours is, first of all, the first differentiator is whatever we do is made with a lot of love and a lot of care. We have lower sugar, we're organic, all natural ingredients. We don't add any color. And beyond just a sports drink, we're like a hydration temple, a platform. We have an electrolyte powder, we have gummies, we have a bunch of other products that will be launched in the UK relatively shortly that will introduce people to a better way to make themselves, hydrated optimally. And so I would say the low sugar and the fact that folks like Andy, other professional soccer players, other major, influential global celebrities have all had their stamp on this, and we took a page from their book. We asked Andy how he hydrates and what he does. I want to know what a Wimbledon champion does to make their body perform optimally. And I would never have that knowledge. Most of us never would. But Andy sitting down and saying, this is how he thinks about it, was instrumental. And so we had that as part of the construction of the liquid and the idea, not something we backed into to sell more.
All right, Anshuman, great talking to you this morning. Thanks very much indeed for joining me.